I lived with a dead man for 3 months. And the worst part, I didn't even know. No slamming doors, no flickering lights, no bed sheets flying across the room. Just silence. If you think this is just another haunted house story, think again. Hit that subscribe button, because this one messed me up. I moved to Chicago in 2017 to finish my degree. Tuition was bleeding me dry, so I went looking for the cheapest rent I could find. Found a listing on Craigslist. $450 for a 2-bedroom in an old brownstone near campus. Sounded sketchy, sure, but I was broke. The ad said the second room was already occupied by a guy named Mark. The landlord's message was short and weirdly casual. Mark keeps to himself. You won't even know he's there. That should have been my first red flag. But instead, I was relieved. I didn't want some party animal roommate. I just wanted peace and quiet. And that's exactly what I got. Mark was quiet. Too quiet. For weeks, I never saw the guy. Not once. I'd hear movement, soft footsteps late at night, a chair scrape, the hum of a monitor. The light under his door was always on. Sometimes I'd hear coughing, a dry, hollow sound. But anytime I knocked, no response. I left a note under his door once. Something dumb like, "Hey man, wanna grab lunch sometime?" With a smiley face. The next day, it was gone. No reply. I figured he was just introverted, or maybe a gamer, night owl. Maybe he worked from home and liked his space. And honestly, I didn't care. I was barely surviving midterms. If Mark wanted to be a ghost, let him. One night in December, I came home from a brutal group project around 2:30 a.m. Snow was falling hard outside. The whole street was quiet. I stepped inside the apartment, and the air felt wrong, heavy. Mark's door was slightly open, just an inch. First time I'd ever seen that. I froze. I leaned a little closer and heard whispering. Not from a TV, not from headphones, just 2 low voices. One of them sounded desperate, like begging. I knocked gently. The whispering stopped. I called out, "Mark?" Nothing. The door creaked shut, slowly, like someone was pushing it from inside. But I didn't see a hand. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I messaged the landlord. "Hey, just checking. Is Mark okay? I haven't actually seen him." He replied instantly. "Wait, Mark? What do you mean?" I said, "My roommate. Guy in the other room." He didn't reply for a while. When he did, it was short. One sentence. "Dude, Mark died in that apartment 4 years ago." I stared at the screen. I called him, demanding to know what the hell he meant. He told me, voice shaking, that Mark had been the previous tenant in 2013. He'd had epilepsy, had a seizure in his sleep during winter break. Nobody found him for almost a week. The room was cleaned, locked. The landlord said I was the first person to rent the apartment since. I went back to the apartment in broad daylight. Mark's door was shut. I knocked. No answer. I turned the knob, locked. Deadbolt. From the inside. I stood there, just breathing, heart pounding in my ears. Then I heard it. A slow shuffle behind the door. I backed away and called the police. They came fast, broke the door down. What we saw, nothing. The room was empty, no furniture, no clothes, no computer, just dust, cobwebs. And my note, the one I wrote him, still stuck to the wall, yellowed and curling like it had been there for years. The officer looked at me like I was insane. Ending, reflection. CTA, 7:41 to 9. I moved out that same day. Couldn't stay another night. I don't know who or what was in that room with me. Maybe it was Mark, trapped, repeating his final days like a loop. Or maybe it wasn't Mark at all. Maybe something else moved in after him, pretending, waiting. But here's the thing I can't stop thinking about. That whispering I heard. That wasn't one voice, it was two. And one of them sounded just like me. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. This is the GPT Files. We tell true horror stories pulled from the internet's deepest shadows. Hit subscribe if you're into real experiences that chill your blood, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 p.m. And if you hear whispers from the other room tonight, don't answer.